Welcome back to Pilates by Brianna. Today's workout is going to be an intermediate level class. We will be starting with single leg footwork, and the majority of class will be performed on one medium blue spring after the footwork, because most of the focus in today's class is unilateral work. So really working one side of the body and then the other side, and maybe noticing some differences or some weakness on one side compared to the other. We're going to get started with the foot bar up to your footwork setting. I have on 3 heavy reds and 1 medium blue. Again, we'll be starting with single leg footwork. And then the only other equipment that you need is your box, so have the box handy. So go ahead, get set up, and then we'll begin. Come to lay on your back. We're going to find a neutral pelvis, so a nice natural position for you. Heels will go on the bar. You can have the headrest up if you would like. And settle in here. Take a moment. Begin driving through the heels to press out. You're going to bring one knee into the chest, and then you'll land with both feet on the bar. And then as you press out, the opposite knee will come into the chest. So we're doing a little marching here. You're going to feel yourself pressing out more with one leg rather than the other. And take note if one side doesn't feel quite as strong as the other side. As you're pressing out, try to engage the obliques just a little bit, just to keep the pelvis steady so the hips aren't rocking back and forth. We'll do 2 more on each side. 1 more on each side. And then bring the carriage in. Put the right toes on the bar, left leg will go out up in tabletop, and begin pressing out and in here. You're going to feel a bit more quad work of that right side. Try to have the left knee directly over the hip. And the heel can be in a comfortable position for you of that right leg. And then bring the carriage halfway in for a round of pulses. Bring the carriage up an inch and down an inch, nice and controlled. Try not to bounce. Steady your breathing. Almost there. And then press all the way out and back in. And we'll switch sides. Left toes will come on the bar, right leg in tabletop, and begin pressing out and in here. One more press out, and then come halfway in for pulses. Another round of pulses. Bringing the carriage up an inch, down an inch, trying not to bounce the carriage. We're controlling it against the springs. Almost there. And then press all the way out, bring the carriage back in. Right toes will go back on the bar, left leg over the bar for bicycle. As you press out, the left knee will come into the chest, and then it'll shoot out over the bar as you bring the carriage back in. Right toes are on the bar here. Last time. And then bring the carriage in, and we'll switch again. Left toes on the bar, right leg over the bar, and we'll begin our bicycle here. As you press the carriage out, the right knee will come into the chest, and then it'll straighten out over the bar as you control the carriage back in towards the stopper. One more to go. And then bring the carriage in. Bring both feet into a Pilates V, toes on the bar. Then you'll bring your left leg up into a turnout tabletop position. Bring the carriage out. You'll lower the left foot towards the springs and then back up, and then bring the carriage in. When you lower that left leg down, think of moving from the hip, so the knee will stay at about that 90-degree angle. You're not bringing the heel closer to the butt as you bring the leg down. It's coming from the hip. Two more to go. And then last one. Bring the carriage in, find that Pilates V again, and then lift the right leg up into that turnout tabletop position and press out and in here. As you press out, we'll do that pause. You'll lower the right foot towards the springs, moving from the hip, bring it back up into that turnout position, and then bring the carriage back in. And that left leg is staying in that Pilates V position, so the left knee is about in line with the shoulder. And we'll make this one our last one. Bring the carriage in. Heels will go hip distance on the bar. If your headrest is up, go ahead and lower it. And we're going to begin going into bridges. We'll stay on this spring setting, arms down by your side. Tuck the tailbone as you begin peeling the back up off the carriage. Inhale at the top, exhale to roll back down, one vertebrae at a time. This is also all about control. You're trying to keep the carriage in at the stopper. You're taking your time. You're feeling the movement through the spine. You're feeling the rocking of the pelvis. Last one like this. Bring the hips up, inhale at the top, exhale to roll down. And then you'll cross the left ankle over the right knee, and we're going to do a single leg bridge, about 5 of them. So you can do a little rock, a little tug of the pelvis, but for the most part, it'll be more of a hinge bridge. So just lifting the hips straight up and then back down. Again, we're going for 5, so we've got about 2 more to go. When the hips are back on the carriage, we'll uncross. The left heel will go to the bar, right ankle will cross the left knee. And we'll do our bridge here, an engagement of the core, and then lift the hips up and control it back down. You're really going to be feeling the hamstring of the leg with the foot on the bar. And you might feel a little stretch into the right hip, a figure 4 stretch, depending on your flexibility. Last one. And then you can uncross. Both heels will go wide on the bar and just windshield wiper the leg side to side. Get a little release in the low back. And then bring the legs back up to center. Come to one side and come all the way up. We're going to take off the red springs, so we are left with one medium blue, and we'll be on this spring setting for pretty much the remainder of the class. Come to kneeling. You're going to have the ankles off the carriage. You're facing the risers. Pick up the right strap, holding onto the tape. And then you'll pull the arm straight back and control it forward. For our chest expansion here, you're kneeling up tall through the crown of the head. Core is engaged. And you're feeling it through the front of the thighs a little bit. If this does not work for you, you can always sit on the long box. We'll go for 2 more. Last one. And then you'll straighten the left arm out in front of you. You're going to bend the elbow as you rotate towards the right for a high elbow row. So you're bending that right elbow and you're rotating towards the right. As you rotate, the left arm is reaching in front of you. So we're reaching in opposition. The left hand is reaching one way and the right elbow is reaching in the opposite direction. You're feeling this around the shoulder blades, our postural muscles. Last one. And then you can hold on to the short loop with that right hand. Left hand will go underneath the right elbow for some support for our bicep curls. Try to have the right elbow in line with the shoulders as you bend the elbow using the front of our upper arm, our bicep muscles, to curl that arm towards you. One more. And then you're going to sit back towards the heels, but the hips are still lifted. Have the left hand on the shoulder block. Pull the right arm back Keep the upper arm there as you bend the elbow and straighten the elbow for our tricep press. You also have the option of bringing the left hand, the back of the hand, to your forehead for a little bit of balance. And as a reminder to keep the head in line with the spine, try not to let it drop forward. One more. And then you can straighten the arm, come all the way up to a tall kneeling. You're going to take a quarter turn to your right. The long loop will go in the right hand for draw the sword. You're going to bend the elbow and then straighten it as you pull the arm up on a diagonal. And then the right hand will go back towards the left hip. So we're reaching across the body, again, squeezing around the shoulder blades, feeling all of our postural muscles working. We're still strong through the core, and we're still kneeling up nice and tall. One more to go. And then you're going to sit back on your heels. The strap will go in the left hand, short loop. You're going to have the left elbow in line with the shoulder, and then you're going to punch it across the body, trying to keep it in that same plane best that you can so the wrist and the elbows are level to one another. Last one here. And then you can hang up the strap. You're going to put the arm, the left forearm, between the shoulder blocks and the pegs. And we're going to be lifted through that left oblique. You're going to have the right foot on the bar, and then we'll begin jumping out. So you're going to jump out, soft landing. I like to look at the bar to make sure I'm going to land on the bar. So nice and careful here. When you jump out, try not to let that right hip drop at all. Try to keep it in line so we're really working our outer thigh. Last one. And then we're going to add on to that. So now you're going to jump out. You'll do a little kick up towards the ceiling, and then you'll land softly again. So we'll jump out, little kick up towards the ceiling, and then land softly. We're still lifted through that left oblique, so try not to let that hang down. We're nice and strong there. Two more. Last one. And bring the carriage in. You're going to step forward off of the reformer. You're going to pick up the short loop in your left hand. We'll come to a staggered stance. Your right foot will be in front. And then you're going to come to a lunge position. And we're going to hold this lunge here. And you're going to just bend the elbow, that left arm down to your side, and then control it back in. So we're doing a nice isometric hold through the legs. You'll be feeling it in the quads and hopefully that right glute. We were just working that right leg, so we're working on fatiguing it a little bit. And we're just bending the elbow in and controlling it back out. One more row here. And then think of squeezing the right glute to bring yourself back to upright. Hang up that strap. We'll come back to kneeling, and now we've got the other set. So you're going to have the ankles off of the carriage. You'll pick up the left strap, holding on to the tape. And then we will go into our chest expansion. So keeping the elbow straight, you're going to pull the arm back and then control it forward. We have 3, 2, and then last one. And then the arm will go out long in front of you for our high elbow row. Bend the elbow, keeping the elbow almost in line with the shoulder as you rotate towards the left and then come back to center. rotating through the spine, trying to keep the hips pressing forward and rotating through our trunk. Last one. And then that right hand is going to go underneath the left. You'll be holding onto the short loop. We'll keep the elbow in line with the shoulder as you bend the elbow, curling in towards you and then controlling it back out for our bicep curls. I'm definitely weaker on this side. I can see that my elbow is not quite in line with my shoulder, but keeping it as level as you can. Last one. And then your right hand will go to the shoulder block. You're going to sit back towards the heels. Bring that left hand in line with the body and then bend the elbow, straighten our elbow. And now we're working our triceps. Option to bring the back of the right hand to your forehead for a bit more of a balance. And as a reminder to keep the head in line with the body. We've got 2. And then last one. And then come all the way up. Take a quarter turn to your left now. We'll have the long loop in the left hand, and we'll come into our draw the sword. So pulling the arm up on the diagonal, working around that left shoulder blade, and then that left hand will come back to your hip. Going for about 10 here. Last one here. And then you can sit back towards the heels. The strap, the short loop will go in the right hand. You'll have the elbow in line with the shoulder, and then you're just going to punch across your body and then bring the elbow back in line with the shoulder, punching across the body and then bringing the elbow in line with the shoulder. One more to go. And then you can hang up that strap. You're going to slide the forearm between the shoulder blocks and the pegs. Come to lay on your side. We're staying lifted through that right oblique. Left foot will go on the bar, and we have our jumps here. So jumping out and then landing softly with your toes. I like to look at the bar. You're trying to keep that leg in line with the hip. So as you jump out, try not to let the foot drop. One more jump and then bring the carriage in. And then we're going to add that hip lift towards the ceiling. So now as you jump out, we have a little lift up towards the ceiling and then land softly. You're keeping the foot parallel to the ground. Try not to externally rotate so the toes aren't rotating up towards the ceiling. We want to stay in that true hip abduction. Last one here. And then bring the carriage in. Step forward off of the reformer. We have our little lunge hold here. Pick up the strap with the right hand. We'll come to a staggered stance. Left foot will be in front of the right. Find your lunge. Have the right knee hovering above the floor. And we've got the row on this side. So bending the elbow in towards your side, controlling it out. You're trying to be as deep into the lunge as you feel comfortable. Last one here. And then use that left glute to bring yourself all the way up. hang up the strap. I'm going to lower my foot bar down to the lowest setting, but just kind of out of the way. And then we'll put the short box on. When the box is on, you're going to come to straddle the box. You'll have the right foot on the carriage. The left foot is going to go on the headrest. We're going to pick up the front strap, and then we'll put the short loop. We'll put the left arm through the short loop. Arms will go out long in front of you. Feet will be externally rotated, so knees are wider than your shoulders. Come to a squat position, and we're just doing squats here. So you're going to stand all the way up and then squat down as deep as you can. Try to tap your bottom to the box if you can, or get it as close as you're able to. And just up and down here, nice, slow, and controlled. Arms are staying out in front of you. Finding that control on the carriage, squeezing the glutes as you go from that squat position to a standing position. Last squat here. And then when you're standing up, you could bring the hands together, come halfway down, and we have squat pulses. Nice, slow, and controlled. We're not bouncing in this motion. We're thinking of using the glutes to lift the hips a few inches up and then a few inches back down. Come all the way up to standing, reset, and then we'll come back into our squat position, hold here. You're going to rotate towards the bar and then come back to center. Using the obliques to rotate, the hips are staying facing forward. I like doing in the squat position because we can't compensate from our hips too much, right? We really have to rotate through the trunk. So we're rotating to the bar and then back to center. Sitting as deep into your squat as you can. And that was our last one. Good work, you guys. We're going to put the left shin on the box. The foot will be off the box. The short loop will stay above the elbow. We're going to come to an upright position. Hands will go behind your head. We're going to dip down towards the risers and then use our right obliques to come back upright. So we're side bending down to the risers, thinking of using the right obliques to return to an upright position. Spine is straight. Last one here. Come back to upright. We're going to stay in the start position, but now you're going to hinge back, keeping the spine straight, and then use that left glute to come back to upright. So we're just hinging forward, spine is straight, collarbones are still wide, and using that left glute, our extensors of really both sides, but you'll feel it more on that left side to come back to upright. Last one here. And then when you're back to that upright position, you can take the arm out of the strap, hang it up. You're going to carefully maneuver so that way the feet are going to go on the platform, knees will come to the carriage, forearms will go to the box. Then when you're ready, you're going to lift the knees up and press the carriage out so we're in plank. Using our deep abdominals, you'll lift the hips up to a pike position and then back out to plank. So using those deep abdominals to drive the hips up, bringing the carriage in, find that pike, and then control it back out to plank. Try to pause for half a breath in plank, really feel that core working. We've got 10 of these. We'll go back out to plank and then lift the hips up to pike. Pause, rotate both feet towards the right, and then we've got the same thing. So you're going down into that plank position. You'll feel that left oblique working, and then using our deep abdominals and that oblique to bring the carriage back in into our pike position. Let's go for 3, 2, and last one. And then next time you're in pike, we're going to rotate both feet to the left, and then we have 10 here. So you'll press out to plank. You're going to feel that right oblique working now. So that right hip will be lower than the left one when you're in that plank position. And then using the abdominals to come back up to pike. Two more, stay strong. Last one. Bring the carriage all the way in. You can set the knees down on the carriage. Forearms will stay on the box. You're just going to puff up the upper back into a cat position and then find neutral spine again. And we'll do that again. Puff up the upper back on your exhale and then find neutral spine. And then you can come on up and you'll sit straddling the box facing the other direction. We'll pick up the front strap. You'll put the right arm through the short loop and the strap will be right above the bicep. Feet are externally rotated, pointing out to the side. We're going to stand up for our squats. Come down to a squat position as low as you can go, and then think of squeezing the glutes to come all the way back up to standing. We have 10 total here. Last one. And then when you're standing, you could bring the hands together, come back to a deep squat, and we've got our pulses, lowering the hips down an inch, controlling and using the glutes to raise it back up an inch. Steady breathing. Come all the way back up. And then we have our rotation. So find that squat position again. We're still in a prayer position. And then you'll rotate to the left and then back to center. Rotating to the left and back to center. How low can you go in your squat? See if you can sit down a little bit lower. Last one. And then come all the way up. We're going to maneuver so that way the right shin is on the box, right foot is off of the box. Come to an upright position, hands behind the head. We'll side bend over to that right side, then use the left obliques to come back up to center. Side bend to the right, using the left obliques to come back up to center. Two to go. Last one. And then last thing we have here are our hinges. So you're going to hinge forward. So hips will go back, Chest is going to go towards the ground, and then use all of our extensor muscles to come back to an upright position. Spine stays straight. Hands will remain behind your head. Collarbones are open. Last one. Then come back to upright. Take the strap off of the arm. You can hang up that strap. Bring the carriage all the way in. Come to sit on the box. We're going to cross one ankle over the opposite knee for a figure 4 stretch. Spine is straight, and then hinge forward from the waist to get more of a stretch into the outer part of the leg. We'll hang out here for a few breaths. And then you can uncross the legs and we'll switch. Bring the opposite foot over to the knee. Spine is straight as we hinge forward. Feeling a stretch in that outer thigh. And then you can uncross, come on off. We'll put the box away. And we're going to finish with Eve's lunge. You're going to add on one yellow spring. So we're on one medium blue, one light yellow. Bring the foot bar up. If you don't have a light spring, then you can either stay on the medium blue or go to one heavy red. We'll put the one foot up against the shoulder block. We'll bend into the front knee to press out, keeping the chest up to feel a stretch in the hip flexor of the carriage leg. And then you could bring the carriage in. This time we'll keep the front knee straight as you press out for more of a stretch in that front hamstring. And you'll lift the toes of the front leg so you're just on the heels to feel it into the calf as well. Bring the carriage all the way in. Come onto the carriage. Both feet will go up against the shoulder blocks. Hands are on the bar. You're going to press out, keeping the hips above the knees for a puppy dog pose, stretching into the arms. So you're melting the chest down towards the well, stabilizing through the arms, getting a stretch through the shoulders. Hips are over the knees. And then you could bring the carriage in, step off to the opposite side. You'll have one foot up against the shoulder block, press out, bending into that front leg. Chest is open, feeling a stretch in the hip flexor on the carriage leg. Bring the carriage in. This time we'll keep the front knee straight as you press out, getting a stretch more so into that front hamstring. And the toes are lifted, so we're on that heel for a stretch into the calf as well. And then you could bring the carriage all the way in. You are done for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you soon.